Hey everybody, it's Sunday morning. It's early Sunday morning, June 11th, 2017, and snuck down here before the kids got up so I could start on a new flea market finds series. This is not I call them all flea market finds by now. Many of you who follow my channel and enjoy watching these type of things know you never know what you're going to get. It's like box of chocolates, right? So what this actually is this is a sale that I first spotted advertised on a Facebook, one of those Facebook kind of yard sale, garage sale type pages, and it was described as a contractors and tool sale. But I spotted an item in one of the photographs that led me to believe that there might be some machinist related items there that I might be interested in. So I decided to contact the individual and make an appointment. This wasn't a open, like, just come and see me. It was one of these by appointment only type of deals. And when I ended up getting out there, what I found the situation was that the basement of this building, this house was full, and full of all types of different things, and the house was getting ready to be sold. So the seller, whose husband had passed away and apparently was part of the reason why there was so much stuff hoarded in the basement, had been working with some individuals who were working on helping cleaning out the property. And oddly enough, I believe they even came from the potential buyer. So I actually met the seller on the second trip out. I've been to this estate now 4 times. And yeah, I've been there 4 times now, and I may even go back for a 5th, because it's one of those things where there's just so much stuff that they've got to kind of like pull out and sell some stuff, and it peels back another layer of the onion, so to speak, and you get more stuff. So I saw stuff on the second trip and even the third trip that I didn't even see at all on the first trip or earlier trips. So anyways, got a lot of stuff, bought a lot of interesting items, most of it machinist related, some of it out of my realm, but just was interesting enough that I decided to buy it. And quite a few items are going to be surplus items for me. Matter of fact, a couple of the items I've actually already earmarked for sale because they just aren't things I can use. But I ended up bundling, pulling together items so that I could maximize my lots of times when you do that, you end up working out better, because the seller likes it because they're thinking, hey, they know, we both know full well they might be able to get more than likely they can get more for each one of these items if they did it individually, sold it on a piece by piece basis, sold one or 2 pieces to this guy, 1 or 2 to the other guy. But the thing was, they wanted to get the stuff out of there. They want to move product and put some cash in their pockets. So when you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take these 25, 30, 40, 50 pieces, you get a good discount. So this is going to definitely be a multi-part series. I'm going to try and make this a little bit quicker. We'll see how it goes. So what this is a Hammond number 4 tool grinder. So I bought another Hammond tool grinder. Those of you who regularly watch my channel know that just a couple months ago I picked up my first Hammond grinder. It was an unusual model. I'll give a quick look at that for the people who haven't seen that video. So then this one, I could tell from the picture that it was a Hammond tool grinder because it's got these funky cast iron boxes on the top here. So I took a chance on this. It's 3-phase, And they did have some three-phase converters down there, but they were running dedicated equipment that they were hooked up to, so I was not able to see this under power. I took a quick look at it and thought I scored a really great deal on it, but then upon closer examination, I don't know whether or not it was really even worth messing with at all. So I'm probably going to do a whole video series just on this grinder, because the reason why I say I don't know whether or not it's worth doing anything with at all is because I suspect that this grinder at some point, when I got there, it wasn't on a nice good sturdy stand. It was just sitting on a table, and I think at some point it had been moved, and more than likely it had fallen. I don't see any major damage in the castings, but on this side there's a wheel mounted, but there should be a table on here that's missing completely. At least I'm almost positive that's what's missing on here. I think that's what this part here is for, and these pieces. So I think that it's a quick release swivel table that allows you to use the side of this wheel, and that's completely missing. So that causes a problem on that side. And then over on this side, on the spindle, there's this arbor or mount, or I'm not even sure what you want to call this, but maybe an adapter that is screwed on to the motor spindle. This does not look original at all to the grinder. So why this is on here, I'm not sure. But what my son noticed, and I wasn't smart enough to notice, what he noticed when we got home was that this thing's way messed up. This thing does not want to run true at all. So you can imagine at speed what would happen if you had a wheel on here. So my suspicion is, unfortunately my suspicion is that the spindle is bent. So even though this actually looks like it's pretty complete as far as the stuff on this side of the table and everything, I'm not even sure if there's something missing here or not. This looks like it might be something that was made and added later. I don't know. It's clearly been painted by somebody. The original green color is right there, and whoever painted it even highlighted with white paint the name Hammond. And it's a Hammond number 4. This is a much more common model than my other one downstairs. It's also a big, heavy grinder, which is why it's been sitting on the truck since I bought it weeks ago. And it's funny, even when I drove back to that estate and bought more items, this was just there underneath the makeshift tarp to keep the rain from getting on it. So at some point I'm going to have to get this down in the basement, get it hooked up to a 3-phase converter and test run it, and maybe put an indicator on it. You know, at first I thought, well, maybe it had something to do with this weird adapter, but I think when I unscrewed this adapter, it still looks like the spindle does not run true. So, well, we'll see. So look for this in the future little series. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, this is my other Hammond. This is a Hammond number 6, which is a very unusual little grinder. I don't think I've yet found an exact match to this one. The left table was off of it when I got it, but we ended up finding the left table when I was looking for some other stuff at that particular estate. And there's a makeshift shield on the top there, and I still don't know the story on this one, other than I do know it's 120 volt. It runs perfect. It's you know, it runs nice and smooth. So cleaned up, this is going to be a nice little grinder. So when we were getting down to brass tacks on the deal for the Hammond grinder, I decided that I would see whether or not I could pull a few items together. So one of the items is a chop saw, or a cutoff saw, that was on a bench up in the back, and I had to crawl and weave through and get over some stuff even to get to it. So I just took a quick look at it and could tell what the style of the saw was, but couldn't even tell who really made it. But I could see that it was where it was mounted. It clearly was being used, so I had a good feeling that it was a good working saw, even though it wasn't plugged in under power. So I'm going to show you that saw at the end of this part 1. And so what I ended up doing was I cut a deal for the Hammond grinder, that saw, and 3 angle plates for $120. So I got a good deal there. Thought I got the deal of the century on the Hammond grinder, but I suspect that anybody who came to look at that grinder before I got there probably did something kind of intelligent, like spun the shaft to see if it was frozen, how the bearings were, and in doing so would have noticed how out of whack that shaft is, and probably would have deduced that the thing is, you know, not really worth dealing with, and probably told the guy it was only worth scrap. And this guy was, you know, probably savvy enough to realize, hey, like P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker born every minute. Although who knows, you know, maybe I can actually do something with that thing, or maybe if I end up even just making a table for the missing side and just use that one side. But because I got the other Hammond grinder, I don't really foresee the point in doing that. So let's take a quick look at these. This one here, it's got a nice scraping pattern on it. It's got a calibration sticker, so wherever the heck they had this thing, supposedly was calibrated back in 2002. I don't see a maker's name. Oh, wait a minute, there is something on here. This is stamped kind of erratically in a way that makes me think that this is just, it was stamped by the company that it used to live at. Scent something tool company. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. And it looks like they stamped it before they drilled these holes. So I don't know. It's clearly a cast one, and then it was machined. But look how this is compared to this, which makes me think, what the heck happened there? I mean, if that's a commercially made one, that's kind of a weird thing going on there. Although, now that I look at it, maybe it started out life this way, and maybe somebody was doing an operation and milled this off. I don't know. So that's a little itty bitty angle plate there. That's a 4, just under 3.5, 4 by 4 by 3.5 angle plate. This one, this one's marked for reference only. Cheapo angle plate. This is a nice size though. If I don't already have one this size, I'm definitely going to keep this one. This is an 8 by 6 by 5. This is a good size for my mill, I think. Oh yeah, I did say 3 angle plates, right? I'm going to start my Sunday off with a hernia. This monster. Alright, so we get a sticker right here telling me it's Suburban Tool Company. So this is made in the USA. This is a 161209, a GAW-161209, which tells me that it's a 16-inch by 12-inch by 9-inch. Now, the thing to know about these is if this had a -G on the end of it, it would mean that it was precision ground as opposed to just milled, which is what this is. You can actually tell by looking at it too. But if this were a precision ground model, it's about twice as much money. This, you can buy this plate right now new, it's like $620, and the reality is that's for a brand new one. This one, I mean, used angle plates, they're just, well, you know, you want to maximize your profit, sure, go ahead and be willing to ship it. It's 112 pounds, or it's over 112 or 115 pounds. So it's going to have to go by freight. You know, is it going to get damaged when it's, you know, in transit?
whole pain in the butt thing there. So really, you're looking for, if you wanted to sell it, you're looking for somebody locally who's going to want to buy it. So you're going to get nowhere near the kind of money that these things cost new. That being said, you know, it's so big. I mean, I could use it on my mill, but I just don't know. You know, it's the kind of thing where you think, I'm never going to need it. So then you sell it, and then the next thing you know, you're thinking, boy, I wish I had never sold that big angle plate. Another neat thing about this is they stamped the catalog number right in to the top of the plate right here, so that if that sticker were to fall off at some point, you could still identify this plate. There are two other things that bother me about this angle plate. If I look dimensionally, it's 16 inches. It's 9 inches from front to back. But for some reason, this plate is not measuring 12 inches tall. Both of these dimensions are dead on where they should be. This one is almost 1/4 of an inch. It's about 3/16 of an inch shy of the 12-inch mark. So since the base thickness is exactly what it should be, I have a suspicion that at some point this may have been milled down to this size. Why they would do that, I have no idea. And the only other issue that bothers me about this plate is there is some sort of an imperfection right here. There is a line deep enough that, I mean, it's a pretty deep line. But I looked at it under magnification. There's nothing to indicate it's a crack. So I have no idea why that would be there. Is it going to affect the operation of the plate? I doubt it. I mean, this is the face, this is the money face over here. But I'm just kind of flummoxed by why that would be there. I don't know if that was something in the casting. Alright, so now I'm going to cut to the video that we shot outside when we were unloading that saw, and I let the kids actually cut some stuff on it, and that's why we're going to wrap up part 1. So this is the saw that I spotted that I didn't really think too much of when I first saw it, but the more I thought about it, I thought, oh, it might be a handy saw to have, and all I could see on it was this KI on the cast cover right here. Seemed like it was pretty well made. It's got a Baldor motor on it. I've now come to find out that KI stands for Kalamazoo Industrial. So this is a Kalamazoo saw. And I know that the Kalamazoo band saws are considered a good product. So I got a really great deal on this thing. And of course there's a sticker right here that says Kalamazoo Industries Incorporated, Kalamazoo, Michigan. But you had to see this place where I got this out of. You could barely walk around in some areas, and I kind of had to reach over and lean over to a workbench that this was sitting on just to get a look at this side of it. So I kind of like pointed to it from a distance when I was doing my bundling, and ended up working a deal and getting this thing. And I'm very pleased with this. This is definitely, I think, something I'm going to hold on to. So I'm going to have my son Aiden demonstrate how we do this. All right, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure the switch is off, right? Okay, and I'll plug it in. Now put those safety glasses on now, just in case when we first started, if for some strange reason that disc decides to explode. When those discs go bad, they can shatter and send pieces flying. And if one sticks into your neck or whatever, well, we'll just slap some bandages on it and cart you off to the hospital, and you might make it. But we don't want one going in your eye. Okay? All right. So if you want, come over on this side and turn it on. We'll see what it sounds like. Hopefully it doesn't sound like a train wreck. All right. Ooh. All right. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta check the other end of the cord. Shut it off. All right. Turn it on. That'll scare you. All right. Shut it off. I just want to make sure there's nothing loose. All right. So we just got this piece of scrap steel. Tighten it. That. All right, put your hearing protection on. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. first thing, don't reach over across here to turn this on. All right. Luckily for you, there's a belt guard on here. Okay, but it's just a bad habit. Second thing is, the reason why this handle's here like this is you should be standing here like this, believe it or not. Even though that seems counterintuitive because the disc blows. But the thing is, if the disc is going to blow, it's going to blow when it's down in this position. That's what this guard is here for. Send all the pieces flying down. Second of all, you want a constant steady motion right through here. Put your fingers in your ears and stand back. That's it. See how much quicker that was? All right. Maybe a little less pressure than I did. I put so much pressure on it, it bogged down. But part of the reason it's doing that is because it's on this long extension cord, which is skinny. The wires in that extension cord aren't thick enough. So this thing wants to see a little more power. This is also a dual voltage motor. It's set for 120 volts, but you can actually run this on 220. So if you wanted to hook this up to 220, this thing would really have a lot of gusto. All right, that's it.
Should I try it again?
Yeah, one more time.
Can I try it?
Huh?
Can I try it?
Oh, I don't know, Mark.
That cat please try it?
All right, hold on. All right, go ahead. That's better. Peter, do you want to try it?
Sure.
Oh, shocking.
Can I try it?
After Peter.
What?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's called friction.
Hey!
Friction. That's
Oh,
the, yeah, a lot of heat built up in that part.
Not yet, Daddy.
I'm gonna use this glove.
Almost had water on it.
Put this stuff on.
Just gonna go
Safety
on
glasses and hearing protection.
this. Oh, break them, yeah.
Two cans you're supposed to use, Aiden.
Yeah.
Like with your regular glasses. 2 cans. Where are your regular glasses?
Turn it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. It's all right. It's okay.
That rag.
Mark, your turn.
What, that acetone-soaked rag? You don't think I should have that when sparks are flying?
No.
Makes it more interesting. I'll tell you what, those eyeglasses shouldn't be there. Those probably have plastic lenses.
Daddy, can we do that one more? Daddy.
Daddy.
Daddy, can we do that there?
Daddy, everybody. Mark, you're up. Come on.
So, I do here.
Yeah. Stay tuned for part 2.